like to talk to you about a little thing we call the hygiene hypothesis. The hygiene hypothesis states that excessive cleanliness interrupts the normal development of the immune system, and the changes lead to an increase in allergies. In short, our developed lifestyle have eliminated the natural variation in the types of quantity of germs our immune system needs for it to develop into a less allergic, better regulated state of being.
This diagram simplifies the immune system into two separate tendencies, Th1 and Th2 responses. On the left, we see that exposure to germs, dirt, and certain types of infection are part of the natural development of our immune response from a default Th2-based system at birth to a mature Th1-based system. On the right, we see how some cultural choices can interrupt the course of the immune system and allow the Th2 response to continue to dominate and promote allergic conditions. Therefore, many of the advances of modernization, such as good sanitation and eradicating parasitic infections, may actually be fueling this epidemic of allergies. Here is another diagram that illustrates environmental causes of expressed allergic conditions. It mentions that high antibiotic use, small family size, and good sanitation all can lead to an increase of allergies.
Experiments have been conducted that show that mice who are raised in a germ-free environment have an increased amount of natural T killer cells in the lungs and intestines when compared to mice that grew up in a normal environment. These T killer cells release proteins that cause inflammation. Inflammation plays an important role in many autoimmune diseases, and these cells are known to be active ingredients in asthma, which is in the lungs, and ulcerative colitis, an inflammatory disease of the bowel. Finally, there have been some studies that compare common differences between households, the possession of pets, and if there are any older siblings. What they found was microbial diversity tended to be increased in infants living with pets, whereas these measures were decreased in infants with older siblings.
This difference between low and high diversity corresponds to the levels between low and high human contact. Low human contact leads to more diversity and less allergies, while high human impact has lower diversity and more allergies.
This means that infants raised in a house that possesses a pet has a better chance at not having allergies than one without a pet. Also, an infant raised among older siblings has a better chance at acquiring allergies than one without older siblings. Now let's look at a real-life example of how this can manifest itself in a family.
My sister and I couldn't be more different. I'm a dancer and a bio major hoping to become a veterinarian. My sister Shelby, on the other hand, is a business major hoping to become an editor at a big magazine in the near future. One thing we do have in common is that we both possess either an allergy, an autoimmune disorder, or an inflammatory bowel disorder as a result of the environment in which we were raised. I am allergic to caffeine. I had no older siblings growing up, so it was just me and my parents, leaving me with a small family. We also hadn't gotten our black lab Trace yet at that time. My sister Shelby, on the other hand, has asthma, an autoimmune disorder, as well as an inflammatory bowel disorder. She had me as an older sibling, leaving us with a small family size of 4. She also was sick for much of the first few months, leaving her in the hospital in a sterile environment with a lot of antibiotics. One thing she did have going for her was we had gotten our black lab Trace by that time, so she grew up with a pet in the house.
Of the factors we have discussed and how they may have affected the health of these two individuals. If they had known about the hygiene hypothesis and possible health effects of their environments that may have caused this could have been prevented. Don't let this happen to your children. Expose them to microbes earlier in life.